The website that we're going to use for our example is called Weather Underground. Now, Weather Underground is a super cool weather site. There's a bunch of weather sites out there, National Weather Service, things like this, but the Weather Underground is kind of different in that, see, all of these little green dots, these are all kind of in my neighborhood where I am in Germany right now. These are all personal weather stations that individuals have put at their house and then linked up to Weather Underground. And so if you live right here, you can actually get the report from, a few blocks down the street. So this is really cool. Now, if we want the weather in, say, Portland, we can come over here and we could just search for it, or we could just go to wonderground.com/weather-forecast/ the zip code. So here you can see the local forecast, see if there's some rain. Yeah, there's some rain out towards the mountains, the Cascades here. What we're going to do is we're going to go and actually grab this HTML, and we're going to download it, and we're going to pull this element out right here and use that for our report. We're going to pull out this temperature right here, the wind, the weather forecast in terms of whether it's rainy or sunny or so on. I want to take all that, I want to turn that into something we can display to the user. Now, one thing I want to say really quickly before we get into this is this concept is called screen scraping, and it may or may not be allowed by various websites. If you're trying to write an app and you want to basically turn these web pages into an API, you should do two things. You should check the terms of service to see if that particular website disallows that, and you should check to see if they have an API. So if you go back here, you can go to the bottom. You can see that these guys actually have a REST API that returns JSON or XML. So if you're going to consume weather from the Weather Underground for real, please use their API. They have a free version, that sort of thing. This is only for demonstrating the sort of pip concepts. So for starters, let's grab this URL and head over to PyCharm. So the next thing we're going to do is get the HTML from the web. So let's write the method def get HTML from web. And we'll have the URL. It's going to be here like so. Now, obviously, we don't want to always get the weather in Portland, Oregon. Maybe we want to let the user enter it, just like they did up here. So let's pass in the zip code as a string, and then we want to put it in here. Now, we could kind of do this, but so I always kind of prefer the format style. So put a little curly brace over the string format and do it like so. The next thing we actually have to do is go and download this, but let's just test our URL really quick. And this is not going to do much if we don't call it. Do a little reformatting. So we're going to do that, and we'll pass the code like so. So what zip code do you want the weather for? Let's say 01010. See if that even works. All right, here's the URL. We can click this. Brimfield, Massachusetts. Beautiful. So it's actually quite warm in Massachusetts for this time of year. Looks like that's working. So the next thing we need to do is, instead of printing this out, we need to actually go and get this HTML off the internet. In Python 3, we can use something called URL lib to download this. And this is the latest version in Python 3. In Python 2, there's actually a URL lib 2. The difference in names, kind of a long story, not worth going into. But this is not a super nice API. What we want to use is this thing called requests. So we would like to use requests to go get the data at the other end of that URL, but request is not something that is part of the Python standard library. Chances are many of you don't have it, and we need to actually go to this place called the Python package index, use the pip tools and download and install it, and then we can use it with our app. That's one of the core concepts in this application. So let's stop for a minute and have a look at it.